And we got number 6, Mr. Perry. What is wrong with you? You should know what I'm doing, but he's a peeping Tom. Make somebody needs to sit with him and prove he's not peeping all damn day. He's not in Lubbock, he's always in Oklahoma. And he's always sitting with his computer or his phone, watching me and other women in the privacy of our home. There's not 1 minute of any day ever that he's not doing that. Prove you're not, Charles. I'm making the accusation. I'm not going to say allegedly. Prove you're not doing that. Okay? Prove you're doing anything but what I say. Creepy Chucky. So she doesn't make any effort to cover up what she's done. Doesn't think it's a crime. Think it's fine. And that's mentally ill, whatever. Okay, Mr. Perry's stalking. He's always in Oklahoma. He's hacking, he's peeping, he's selling people. There's a compound south of Houston with a bunch of kids and women. Well, they said, what we heard is that they kidnapped women, got them pregnant, had kids, and now rape the kids, and that the whole place smells bad, like the sewer, because a lot of the kids are being sodomized and they're shitting on the floor. Our guys have not personally confirmed that, and that Natalie Holloway even may be there. There was no crime scene when she was disappeared. There was no body found. That's possible. So, we're not saying that's definitive. We're saying that's possible. Mr. Perry and some of those guys were trying to figure out who's helping me. They were thinking maybe it's Aruba. Well, maybe it's Aruba. Maybe UAre started talking. You're on Vandersloot and about the Natalie Holloway deal. My guys are like, holy shit, they might have Natalie Holloway. They're like, put something out about it being. We're gonna do an extraction. And let's see what the reaction is. So they do the. So that they did that. They did that. Well, then the response from Perry's people is she going to remember who she is? She hasn't gone by Natalie Holloway for years. Well, you made her change her name? Should we move her? Blah, those kind of conversations. So, again, we haven't personally confirmed that I know of. The guys may have. I have not heard that yet. They have done that just yet. They're getting, I think, more intel about that Houston compound south of Houston. Beveled glass, it's all windows with beveled glass, right? So nobody can see in and nobody can see out. So, we got that. We got all that in Tim's transponder. When he kidnaps women, he turns a transponder off. The FAA is going to love that. So that way nobody knows where he's taking them, he said. That's him. That's what he said. When you mess with my school, somebody got really mad and gave us that information. Now, when we get information, we have to confirm it. We got to prove it out, and sometimes not. I'm sorry. What am I saying? We have to prove it out. Some of it we have not yet, is what I'm meaning to say. A lot of it we have. A lot of it they prove out. They'll talk about it, and then they do it. And we're like, okay, there you go. This is I'm getting death threats. And I'm getting sick. And I'm asking, is it arsenic or phenobarbital? And I'm getting a yes. Okay, so Mr. Perry has told me over and over, I'm going to starve you until you lie. I have an affidavit, you're going to sign it. You're going to apologize, whether you want to or not. You're going to lie for me. He's been saying that for years. You're not going to eat until you lie. You're not going to eat until you apologize. You're not going to eat until you go be trafficked. I'll make sure you live in poverty until you do that. You can eat out of a dumpster. And I'm like, because I'm worth millions, when you deliver, when you make Papa John's as your code word, delivery of a human trafficking victim means their code word is Papa John's. Can we make Papa John's on this? See, that's kind of sensitive information getting into the wrong hands he was talking about. You don't have any control over yourself. None. Because most of the time, you would not want that to happen, except, and my guys like Perry does, because he provokes it all day, every day. Provokes it and went after her school. You had to piss somebody off. You had to see what we got out of that one. when you make a problem for me, when you contact me, when you invade my privacy. They invade yours. They have a court order. You just have a weirdo problem. Right? Or you got a leak or you got an info. I mean, we're controlling the flow of information we have since this. This is where this is, I told you so, I did say. This was sent in October. The event that I reported was on January 16th. I reported it on the 21st. You had me charged in Lubbock, not Oklahoma. This event happened in Oklahoma. This event was reported in Oklahoma to the police that had jurisdiction. And you obstructed justice by having false charges in Texas. Filing a false police report in retaliation for a public servant doing his job as a senator. You made a false report to retaliate against me as a senator. Where's the evidence that I would have any motive for that? Where's the issue? 9 years later, you still don't have an issue. There's no tweets, there's no Facebook rants, there's no emails, there's no text ranting about a political issue. Because to me, you didn't matter. I'm very well established politically. I didn't need the new guy. You don't move into a you don't move into a neighborhood. Live there 10 years. New guy moves in and ask him to introduce you to everybody. 10-year guy knows everybody already. You need him to introduce you. That's the dum-dum that made. The sense that made. You don't think through your bullshit. It's funny as hell. So, Tulsa police call here on the 15th, asking for the evidence and for me to come. If you want to pursue charges, come in. I need to look at the text and get the evidence. Nobody properly collected my evidence. I'm sitting in jail in Lubbock already for false report. Well, you can't say it's false if no evidence has been collected, can you? Nobody bagged it and tagged it. Yeah. So I told you so. We got a shit ton of those. Now, had I not put this out when I did, it wouldn't have the significance that it has, would it? No, it would not. Right, Mr. Kunzweiler? Put the date on that. 1/4/16. The event didn't happen yet until the 16th of January, which I reported on the 21st. I told you so. It wouldn't help much if I wait till after. It doesn't prove premeditation and malicious aforethought and criminal intent, does it then? And if you're asking me to lie and threatening me with starvation, if I don't lie for you now, 9 years later, Mr. Perry, that's an act showing consciousness of guilt. You don't pass McNaught. So you would have to go to trial. You wouldn't get to go to a mental hospital where it's probably a little cushier. Yeah, not guilty by reason of insanity would not help you, would it? It wouldn't apply to you. You have the diagnosis of a mental disease, delusion, paranoia, psychosis, and all that. You have that diagnosis, Huntington's disease. You made somebody so mad they told us you have it. He said Charles Perry doesn't want Cynthia to know that he has Huntington's disease. I'm sick and tired of watching what he's doing to her. The torment, the torture, the hardships. Make sure she finds out. So, you got that, but what you don't have is you keep showing guilt by asking people to lie. You keep showing guilt by tampering with witnesses. You keep showing guilt by suborning perjury. You keep showing guilt by perjury. Because if you think Tanya never lied. Yes, I killed my children. I killed my children. It's not a crime. But you're not doing that. She didn't wipe out blood. She didn't cover anything up. She didn't change carpet and paint and go bury a body, hoping nobody would find it. She sat catatonic. And then they took her to the police department and said, what happened? Well, somebody was going to molest my children, so I saved them by sending them to heaven. She thought she was doing something good. Couldn't understand why it was a crime and why it was a heinous one. Didn't clean anything up, didn't try to cover it, didn't ask anybody to lie, didn't lie herself. And you're doing all of that. So that's showing consciousness that you know what you're doing is a crime. You know it's a criminal act and you're going to do it anyway. You just expect everybody else to cover it up for you because you're entitled. Right? Did you grow up on welfare, or what was your deal? What's your deal with the entitlement thing? I don't know. So, pretty much that's kind of how this thing has gone. And see, I bought charcoal because I didn't want to die at work. I'm just trying to go to work, support my son and I. So, I guess some of my family was like, Craig, why didn't you sit her down and ask her, do you want the guy in your life or not? No, fucking hate him. Get him out of me. Get him away from us. So let's both call him on speaker and tell him you don't want to see him and he's not to come by here again. He's not to call us. He's not to call you. We'll call the police. All of us will. United family front against the guy. And that way, we would have avoided a shit ton of problems. And Dennis wouldn't have lost his house. And he said the main concern for her family was how much loss Dennis has incurred. The kid. He said it's a kid. So, I don't know if that's true or not, but it sounded interesting either way. Okay, so, I mean, it sounded interesting. All I know is that I felt like my family opened their door in their home to you and shoved me out. So when you think that you're going to call them up and have them come tell me I have to leave the state of Oklahoma or else, they're not going to have a lot of influence. Why would the people that give me this, don't you think they would have more influence than somebody that opened the door to somebody that's hurting me so badly and shoved me out? Did you tell my family, stay away from her, don't talk to her, so that they wouldn't find out the truth that we're not dating? I haven't seen you since 2013 because I don't want to see you. Did you lie? Did you tell them that there has been a date? There's never been a date. There never will be a date. You're not good enough for me. I don't do canned food guy, and I don't do guys who don't have control over their weird urges, and I don't do guys who can't respect boundaries. And these guys who are in the mafia that our guys are talking to, remember I lived in Vegas for a long time, so there are certain types of organized criminal that I can relate to a little better than others, and one would be men's men, people with class. The mafia has rules. They may not be everybody else's rules, but there's levels of rules in different types of criminal organizations. And he made a very good point when he said, I don't like doing business with the sex weirdos in the sex type of crime because it attracts people who can't control themselves. They're ruled by their dick and they make the wrong decision every time. And I'm a businessman and I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to associate with people that do that. So you take apart somebody's organization and you might keep the laundering and you might get rid of the sex crimes. Because that attracts the weirdos. And I don't really want the weirdos around me. And I don't either. I agree with him. So we get along very well in some of those ways. Law enforcement can work together with, that happens all the time. Anyway, so, my mail, I'm still not getting my mail. Look at this. Let your life fade away. So if you're getting threatened with death and false arrest, then you might want to file a police report so you can get a protective order. So it's not false, is it? No. 9 years later, Mr. Perry's still trying to think up that political issue. He fucking, to me, look, I mean, this was before I met Mr. Perry. You think I needed his help with anything? Oh, absolutely not. Plus, your demographic is so small and 86% Republican. It's just, you're impotent politically. To me, in my opinion. I don't need you. I don't live in Texas now. Haven't for 9 years. I never lived in your district. I live in John Fula's district. You know who's not here worrying about my podcast? John Fula. You know who doesn't care what I do for a living or what I'm driving? John Fula. Yeah, where's Jacqueline when you do this shit? So does it look to you like I fucking, give a fuck about you and your little bitty dog catcher position there over in Podunk, nowhere, Texas? Probably not, sir. Get off your high horse. I'm like, wow, I just walk out of the office of Harry Reid, third most powerful man in D.C., and Charles Perry thinks he matters to me? You're shitting us with that, right? Enough to make up a stalker story, keep my mouth shut about it for 4 years, but to a few close friends. I didn't run to the media with it. Move, then move again, and then go public when I filed for a protective order. Yeah, that makes sense, Mr. Perry. That makes a lot of sense. But, okay, so somebody's asking the question, why is it taking 9 years for people to start questioning? Why didn't he's going around telling some people, we're engaged, we're dating, we're married, we're whatever, and yet nobody's seen them together in 9 years. And they're just now questioning that? What took so long? You got me. I don't know. I'm not that slow. Who's that slow? I don't know. It's sad. Okay, so, yeah, there's a list of emails about being pulled over, and then there's a list of pullovers they don't want to give me, and then I guess they were trying to do it again. Call Broken Arrow. Then we don't say about whether the Broken Arrow was actually called. And then the Broken Arrow testifies, no, we weren't called. Yeah, but we didn't say that. We never said that. All we said is Charles said call Broken Arrow and have her pull her over. That's it. So you gotta pay attention when you're dealing with me, because I'm very good at what I do. Very, very good at what I do. I can sing up the fuck out of people and get them to say very incriminating information, or somewhat incriminating information. I'll get something out of them. And they will never know it. Half the time, when it's over, they won't know. A third party won't know either. And then when it's all over, then I'm going to say, here's what I got out of that guy. Blah, 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 blah. And then people are like, shit. Son of a bitch, she sure did. And you couldn't tell. Until she explains it, you're not going to know. There's other conversations I've had that I've never even talked about yet, that I got something and nobody knows. Not yet. Go to criminal trial, you'll know then. Mr. Warman, when we're required to give you information, then you'll get it. Until then, not going to happen. My guys have talked to your client more than once, and he had no idea that's who he was talking to. You've talked to him more than once, and you had no idea that's who you were talking to. So, easier for them to do the same thing I do when you don't know that's who you're talking to, right? You've talked to my supervisor, dum-dum, you just didn't know it. So, I mean, this has been 9 years, Mark. In 9 years, you've talked to a lot of people, I'm sure. Yeah, see, we got all this. This is, I mean, there's this, and Mr. Perry acts like he's got he knows who my supervisor is. He's talked to him, but he didn't know that's who he was talking to. Undercover. Right, okay. So, look, watch all week for they're gonna try to pull you over. Yeah, okay. So we got this. This is inside sensitive information you wouldn't want in the wrong hands. But when Mr. Perry invades my privacy, when he contacts me or my family, when he causes me a problem or takes something from me or makes me broke, that's what happens. We get sensitive information and gets into the wrong hands, which Vito said you don't want. What you don't want is sensitive information getting into the wrong hands, and our guys are like, Charles didn't care. When he contacts Cindy, when he takes her money, makes her broke, if she's broke and has to ask for help, if he causes problems or loss for her and her family, any of her family members, lose anything at all, an eyelash, because of Charles Perry and his crew of weirdos, anything, we start getting shit. They have no idea. This is not the half of it. You'll find out when your criminal trial comes and all your questions, you're going to have to save that for then. Because nobody's going to give you shit until we're required to give you shit. You've been told that before. I don't call people cuckoo bird normally, but I'll call you cuckoo bird because you're making me a victim. You're imposing in my life. You're bothering me with this stuff. You're causing me substantial, catastrophic, major problems and loss with your mental illness. I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. You don't have that right. This sensitive information gets into the wrong hands when you contact me. Every time you contact me. When you peep on me, when you hack me, you invade my privacy. Every minute that you invade it, every time you contact me. Every invasion of my privacy, every contact, every penny, any eyelash, any problem, a minute of my time. because we've got this sensitive information into the wrong hands every day, all day long, for years, and you made yourself weak to other crime organizations that might be interested in putting your money in their wallet. See? We got names. You don't have our guys' names. You act like you have our guys' names. You seem very confused all the time. And that. Bencor, Oscar, Bruce, Tim, Larry, right? Sonjay, Beverly, who was worried about my shoes. Renee, Monique. Who's Monique and where's she today? Okay, remember who has the control over the information. You can't even control yourself. Vito said that's the problem with sex trafficking and sex crimes and organized crime, is the guys that run it are sex perverts, and they can control themselves. They think with their dick. They'll think that thing right into a hole every time. I don't like that kind of business. Excuse my language, Judge Kirkendall and Judge Parker. I'm quoting Vito. I feel like accuracy is important. We don't like factual ignorance. Okay, so you got all that. Because Mr. Perry can't control himself and got provoked, and people with a lot of power, and got sensitive information into the wrong hands. And the shrink determination was made before we found out he had Huntington's disease, but if you read it, she's not wrong. Every time you contact me, we get more. We get more sensitive information into the wrong hands. Every minute of my time you take up and you waste. I lose an eyelash because of you. Every day Mike Neely's in jail. All of that. You get more sensitive information into the wrong hands. And you made yourself weak. They got that to me in jail. Your name's not on that. You don't make me hope. You make me want to barf. My friend's like, yeah, she's not canned food. So, she's fighting for freedom from this guy because he's abusive. She's not going to put up with that. I've known this girl for a long time. That's not how she rolls. She will kick his ass. Has anybody kicked your ass any harder than this? Sensitive information in the wrong hands, Calvin. Sensitive information into the wrong hands. There it is right there. Mike Neely didn't do it. He was drugged. March 2020. Oh, May. Sure shit he was. Told you so. Point out for me the marks on him that look like he was in a fight. He's accused of beating someone to death, and he looks like he wasn't even in a fight. Because he wasn't. So why is he still in jail, Charles? We told you to get him out. You made the mess, clean it up. Because if we have to do it, you're not going to like how that works out. Mr. Perry just contacted me again for the record, everybody, so more sensitive information is headed our way. Right in the wrong hands. Again. We quoted you guys again all day today. Not a mark on him. Really hard to beat somebody to death, their head back and forth, until they are decapitated internally. Chief Miller died of internal decapitation. His head was hit back and forth so hard, the medical examiner said it was like he was in a car crash. By a man with not a mark on him, who was found unconscious, in respiratory distress, and dying of opioid overdose. How is that possible? How is that possible even in bullshit Perryland? We don't even know. Why is he still in jail? This is a policeman who was trying to help me. Why is he still in jail? Once again, we got drugging. Once again, the person doesn't die within a week, and once again, we got a false arrest. Why is he still in jail? We told you to get him out. We weren't kidding. We weren't kidding. Did you think we were kidding? More sensitive information into the wrong hands all day today. Because he's still sitting in jail. And it's pissing people off to have a lot of power. Power to get me that puzzle in jail. Power to get me the McNamara email. Power to tell me, you said call Broken Arrow and have him pull her over. Right? Made yourself weak. I send you emails about what we get in. Here, guys, put it on the docket for us, please. So that any law enforcement agency from anywhere can read the docket and see. Here's what they've been doing to this girl in Tulsa. She catches them while they're getting this information in beforehand, not after. They can establish mens rea, premeditation, and malicious aforethought on 100 different events, criminal events, that occurred in Tulsa. Tulsa police didn't do fuck, but thank God she has somebody else helping her. Okay, so here's this. Tulsa police pulled me over 6-7 times and got the next one on the schedule. They got that one on the schedule too. I understand. I think it's been put on and taken off and put on. Yeah, okay. I'm not against police. I was raised by police in a police department. Chief Hall, my granddad. I'm against bad police because had you done your obstruction of justice case, he'd be home right now with his boy and his wife, as would Chief Miller. And we don't leave one behind. He's cop family. We don't leave one behind. We don't leave one behind. We don't do it. I have been retaliated against like a motherfucker, and I'm a girl, and I haven't backed off one bit. So how come I have more balls than you guys, Captain Gimpy? There's a reason we call you Captain Gimpy. You gotta get some balls. Okay, so we have this is the arrest report, and it says, not a mark on him, just a red swollen right hand. There's a needle in it. Maybe that's why it's red and swollen. I don't know. Detectives, what do you think? Yeah. This is evidence of premeditation. How'd you know we had to talk him into going? I know you've been subpoenaed. You're a witness. I'm going to tamper with you anyway. How'd you know he'd been... No control, no self-control. Sensitive information getting into the wrong hands by way of direct contact. Doesn't get any more dumb than that. Okay, so... It does look like she was displaced. You think? Looks like she was displaced. Maybe. Now I'm at... Where do we have her whereabouts? Can we confirm that's her? Can we confirm... How many times a day does he call up here and ask that? We confirm that's her. Dark and Twisty. I guess that came up today. Dark and Twisty is a quote from Meredith Grey on Grey's Anatomy. Does Meredith Grey make threats to anybody? Of course not. She's talking about her Alzheimer's mommy. And she calls her dead mommy, Alzheimer's, whatever. Made her sad to lose her mom. So she feels dark and twisty. So Josh Person didn't do diligence, Matt Powell didn't do diligence, Charles lied. Again, no surprise there. No surprise there at all. We think he can't any longer tell the difference between fact and fiction. He does know when to lie, though, a lot of times, because he's telling me on a daily basis, I'm going to starve you, tell you a lie. I'm going to starve you. You're not going to have food until you're trafficked and you lie. And I'm going to make you sign my affidavit and apologize for rejecting me. Because I'm not a man. You need to put your big... I've been rejected. I moved on. Sight and I broke up. I moved on. So, what's your problem? A man what kind of man would humiliate himself like that? And his family and his associates. And I don't like doing the sex crimes businesses because it attracts the weirdos who have no control over themselves. And they think with their wrong head. And everything gets fucked up all the time. And I fucking don't have time for it. I'm a professional. He kept saying, I'm a businessman. I'm looking at money. Are they spending on this to get sensitive information into the wrong hands? And you don't want to do that. They made themselves weak. Well, what kind of man humiliates himself to no avail and to his detriment? That's not a man. Where's the respect? Where's the dignity? Where's the class? And he devalues his whole entire organization when he does that. And he gives you guys value, gives Cynthia value. All of a sudden, you guys are a whole lot more valuable if you can get stuff like this. Sensitive information into the wrong hands. Every time you contact me, we get more of it. Every time you take my money, we get more of it. So just keep that in mind. And then when we get this stuff in before and I send it to your attorneys, we do want that on the docket. I'm just making that clear. That's not something we're against. That's something we're very much... That's why I send it to you. Because I know that's what you do. Harassing me. See? We're like However it has to get on the docket, that works. And if it's fraud, even better. And if they know it's fraud, even better. Right? Yeah, if you're asking who told on you and who the leaks are, you know it's fraud. It's fraud and you know it's fraud. It's a lie and you know it's a lie. Okay? Go ahead and make those phone calls. Is it your mom? Is it your kids? Is it your family? Is it your friend? Is it Brandon? Is it Al? Is it all damn day? And I'm like, I'm not told who the leaks are. I don't even know. I don't even know what comes from a leak, what comes from an informant, what comes from an infiltrator, what comes from a wired device. I have no idea. It's a need to know. I don't need to know that. And yet you ask me every damn day, all damn day long, and get more sensitive information into the wrong hands. Yep, you contact me at all in any way, shape, or form, you invade my privacy, you hack me, you peep, you take my money and I'm broke. Same thing, more sensitive information into the wrong hands. Right, Ringtone Richard, Sanjay? Alright, so he doesn't think you're a man, he thinks you're a pussy, and the guys are like, yeah, he actually went in court and complained about it. Wow. He said, you're kidding me, you're shitting me with that. He really made himself weak when he did that. In this business, that does not play well. Where's the respect? So, but thank you for putting all the documentation on the docket for us. We love you. For that, that's perfect. Sensitive information in the wrong hands, now on the docket. So there's that. Alright, so I'm done, and until next time, try to remember what it feels like to be stalked.
Stalking me! Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalk me. That's why leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No, 0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you. I don't ever want to hear your voice to you. Please, God bless you, but please leave me alone. Please.